guys. This is like the optimal cozy video. I'm literally lying in bed with my stuffed animal. Because honestly, let me try to prop my ass up. I've been feeling super unmotivated this week for YouTube content, for like my art business, for I guess I finished a drawing that's been in the works for a while, but that was about as much as I could muster because I was on my period this week, which is kind of what I want to chat about in this video, and my experiences with PMD or post-menstrual depression, which for me started after I went off birth control, because I was on birth control for about 4 years, and I stopped doing birth control maybe 4 years ago now. I think around that. I'm not really sure. I think I was on it for like 4 or 5 years. But after I went off of it, I lost my period for 2 years. I didn't have a cycle. I think it was around 2 years I lost it for. And so I think that took a pretty big toll on my body, because since I've gotten it back, at first my physical symptoms were horribly debilitating. Like, I was having the worst cramps. I never had cramps before. Like small kind cramps when I was in high school, but nothing too severe. And then I started getting such bad cramps. And now it started with the really bad cramping, and then it went to really deep dark places of depression before my period. And depression comes in many forms. Some people, I've heard them like label depression as like, oh, you're in your room and you can't do anything, and you know, you don't have any motivation to even go outside. For me, it's like, if everything's a spectrum, depression is a spectrum. I don't say I deal with depression on an everyday basis, but during the week of my period and the week before, like the 2-week stretch of that, like week before, week during, my thoughts are just horrible, such self-deprecative thoughts. And I wanted to share this video to kind of open up a space for women. I mean, if you're a man and you want to jump on of like, how can I hold space for a woman when she's on her period, which I can also talk about that in this video too. It's like, if you're with someone in a relationship and you're a man and she's a female, and it's not woman-woman relationship, because if, you know, woman-woman relationships, they know how to deal with the woman on their period because they can understand. But if you're in a straight relationship and you're a dude and you're trying to be there for your significant other when she's on her cycle, her moon cycle, it's like, realize that she's in a really vulnerable space, physically, emotionally. Her energy levels are a lot lower. Like, women operate in a monthly cycle of energy where we get our energy throughout the month, whereas men, it's like they get it throughout a 24-hour cycle. And so the week of the woman's, when she's like releasing and bleeding, it's like, that is a very, first of all, like, she's literally releasing. Like, there's blood exiting her vaginal cavities Why did I say it like that? But it's just like a very vulnerable, sensitive time. And it can be an uncomfortable time to be in your body. I personally, when I'm on my period, I like hate being inside of my body. And I've still dealing with like a lot of unhealthy relationship patterns around my body. And so I noticed, I'm gonna make a video on that later. I just didn't have it in me to talk about that fully tonight. But that's a huge thing that gets highlighted around my period, is like a lot of body dysmorphic thoughts and just like really negative patterns of behaviors are highlighted, and just thought patterns within myself. And just the negative self-talk is so horrible. And so realize, as a guy, if you want to be there for your partner when she's dealing with this, is like shower her with love. If you're going to choose any time to shower your woman with love, do it around her period, please and thank you. That's when you really need just like that tender love and care. An ex of mine, when I was on my period one time, I remember this so full-heartedly because it was so sweet, even though there was interesting dynamics within the relationship as well. But this was something that really stuck out to me. It was when I was having really bad cramps around my period. I was also having like mental stuff as well, but my cramps were really bad. And he ran a bath for me after we had dinner, and he put candles around the bath, and like he came and he would check on me, and he gave me like a massage while I was in the bath. Heaven. I felt so loved and I felt so taken care of. And we need to prioritize that as females. It's like, express first of all what you need, what you would like on your period. And as a man, it's like, do that extra work just to be there for them. It's not that hard to give a little extra love here and there. So you know me, I'm just cuddling with my moth, because that's my extra love tonight. But yeah, this video wasn't really, I didn't want to have a lot of direction in it. Kind of just a general vulnerable space. Talk about menstruation and just how I'm also tired while I'm making this, but I've been tired all week. So that's another thing. My energy level just gets super low around my cycle. But let's maybe get into more of the self-negative talk. I'm gonna be straight up and honest. I am not a suicidal person, but I do get suicidal thoughts when I'm on my period. And I don't know if that's something, whatever, I should be putting on my channel, because I don't want people to be like, oh, she needs help. But I've talked to this with other women as well before, and it's a common, I think it's just not talked about, and that's why we're not, like, people are scared to be like, oh, I have suicidal thoughts around my period. But it's like, I do. Like, I have more existential thoughts of, like, it's not like I actually want to, you know, end my own life, but it's like, I have thoughts while I'm driving in my car, and I'm like, well, if I get into an accident right now, well, wouldn't really care. Just like very unemotionally attached thoughts. I can be very emotional, but then very unemotionally attached while on my period. I think that's interesting, because I don't actually want any of that to happen, but it's almost like I'm like, it's as if I become another person. Like, I literally feel as if my essence leaves, and I'm just like a walking hollow organism for about a week, and maybe other people can relate to that. Because, like, you can probably even tell through my other videos that I've posted, even though there's not a lot to this now, a significant shift. Like, also I'm tired, but, like, yeah, sometimes I just don't want to be a person when I'm on my period, and I'm like, I would like a week to just retreat into a shell and not have to leave. And just leave my body for the week, like, just go into astral plane. That's probably why I took a bunch of mushrooms for my period, because I was, like, preparing to not want to be here for a week. Just, like, press pause. Boop. Thank you. But it's something that I'd like to figure out more, because it's like, that happens 12 times a year. For a week at a time. Like, 12 weeks. For how many years? Like, goddamn, the menopause happens. Like, being a woman. I don't even know. This video seems a little, like, directionless and all over the place. And probably because I feel really ungrounded. When I'm on my period, I cannot ground myself. I feel like a walking Airhead commercial with the people who would eat the Airhead and their hair was like, boop, 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 boop. Their head gets super big. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like so much pressure in my head, and I'm just, like, walking around clueless. Like, what am I doing here? It's like, girl, you know why you're here. You just forget right now. Anyway. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna pause this video. And maybe not post it. I don't know how I feel about this one. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye-bye.